What's going on, everybody? Welcome here to another episode of the This Just In podcast, episode number 21.
21.
I'm
Yes,
Justin.
sir.
I'm joined here by Jared. Jared, how you doing tonight?
Decent. Long weekend. And I
Well,
got homework to do after this, so
Bam.
yeah.
Hey, we're getting this episode out on time at least.
We
Finally.
are.
It's been
Love
2
to see
weeks,
it.
but we're finally back on time, and we'll get this one started. Like usual, we got a blind ranking. Jared, who do you want to go first?
I'll go first. It's apparently yours is like crazy. That's what I've been told.
Kind of.
But mine is top, or you're gonna blind rank
Okay.
iconic sports broadcasting moments.
Oh, I like this. As an upcoming broadcaster.
Exactly.
myself. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. For the first one, we got Diggs sideline touchdown.
Okay. Simply for the fact that I was pissed that happened because it killed Breeze's chance at a ring. One of his chance. He got screwed 3 years in a row, but that's a good call. I'm gonna go 4 though. I think there are better ones. I do think there are better ones.
Okay.
It was a good call, but I'm gonna go 4.
All right. Next, we got first pitch crushing on the iconic Shohei Ohtani home run with the ball sounding like it got demolished off the bat.
I'm not gonna lie. When you first said pitch, I was thinking you were gonna say the Nick Castellanos one. I don't know if I'll ever put on his headset again.
And that'll be a 3-1 ball game.
I thought you were gonna say that one. I don't know if I've heard this one. Well, maybe I have. Trying to remember if
You've definitely heard it before.
I've heard it.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of Ohtani home runs, but you know what? Home run calls are 6. So I'm just gonna go 3 anyways. I can't. I'm trying to remember the specific one. I'm have to listen to it later.
Okay. Next, we got for the championship.
Oh my god! Is this
March around
the Nova North
This
Carolina?
is the Nova, North Carolina
Yeah, bro, that's gotta be
national
one.
championship.
That's gotta be one. That's such a good call, man,
Okay.
and a good play for the Natty. That's just everything of a great call right there. That's
Okay. Next, we're going a little bit to the Olympics.
okay.
Got the iconic "Do You Believe in Miracles?"
Oh my god, that's so good. Okay, well, I have to go 2. Meaning I left the 5.
Oh,
Oh,
oh no!
what is it?
We got the Mike Breen bang Ray Allen from the corner.
I'm not gonna. I folded that list. I folded that.
Folded.
But there's
hard.
no way I could put "Do You Believe in Miracles" at 5, so I folded early.
You did fold him early.
Damn. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could have fixed that. That.
You probably could have slotted the Otani one in 5.
I
Just
probably
because
should have
it's
slotted the Ohtani.
Not
one
as
at
like
5.
big.
But home run
like-
calls are so sick. I like home run calls.
That's
Hopefully
fair.
I'll
That's
get to
fair.
do one. I have a baseball game I broadcast on March 6th, so hopefully we
Okay.
can run. I've never done a baseball game before, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So
That difficult.
it'll be interesting. Yeah, I know. I've just never done a baseball before.
Yeah.
Jared, I've got you ranking the little brother companies, kind of.
Okay.
So you know how Dunkin' is the little brother coffee company to Starbucks.
Okay.
So I've got
yeah.
you ranking little brother
Okay.
companies.
Okay. I
So-
don't. I genuinely don't know how you come up with these. Like, how does that?
You know, it popped into my head.
Yeah.
We're gonna start with the classic, the war between consoles. Xbox is the little brother of PlayStation. You want to rank Xbox? And for all you Xbox
Xbox guys,
players,
so I might have a little bit of bias here.
you Xbox out there, it's not better than PlayStation style.
Yeah, I've heard like it. I'm gonna go 4. Just
Okay.
Because it's kind of died down lately and it's not as big, so I'm gonna put it at 4.
Next, we're gonna go here. Apple Music, the little brother of Spotify.
I'm gonna go 5.
Okay.
I'm not an Apple Music guy. I love Spotify.
Neither am I. I like
I'm gonna
Spotify
go 5.
and SoundCloud for certain things. Hey, there's some things you can find on SoundCloud that you can't find on Spotify.
That's true. That's true.
Makes for some decent stuff. Next, we're gonna go here with Android, little brother of Apple.
Ooh, okay. This I should have put the first one in the 3. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna go 2,
2, okay.
just because I don't think Android's a bad company, even though I do.
No,
have Apple.
I have respect for
But
Android. It's just not my
Android
favorite.
does some better things than Apple, so I'm gonna put it at 2.
So what have you left so far? You're one of your
The
three.
one and the three.
One of your three. All right. Well, next here you've got Dove chocolate, little brother of obviously Hershey.
Dove chocolate. I'm gonna have to go in the three. I can't put that at one.
Well, number
just
one,
no way.
Jared, you left the little brother of Twitch, Kick.
Okay, I mean, wow, that started so strong and then just got weak very fast.
Yeah, you kind of. We both folded our list, man.
Yeah,
We both folded the list.
I thought there was no way we could get like that bad, and then we got that bad.
Oh, we destroyed. These were awful.
Yeah. This is a bad week.
You know, we've been killing the list though recently, so
Yeah, we just
It's
got
tough.
humbled. We needed it.
we were down for or we were up for a bad ranking.
Yeah. It's about time.
Speaking of rankings, Jared, why don't we go? I'm gonna shift the plan a little bit just to play off the rankings, right?
Okay.
March Madness is right around the corner.
It
All right.
is.
We're gonna go here and give our number one seeds, who we think are gonna be the 4 number one seeds, and why. I've seen some bracketology that I don't like agree with. So we're gonna see who our number one seeds are.
Okay. Do you want to go like all four, and then
I'm thinking.
or you want to go like
thinking
one and one?
We'll go 1 and 1, but we'll save. No. We'll go 1 and 1, but we'll do our overall number one first. So like,
Okay.
there's Alabama was the overall number one last year.
Mm-hmm.
So who's gonna be your overall number one for this year?
Overall number one, I'm gonna give it to UConn. Besides the Creighton game, they've been pretty much dominant. They haven't really had that many slip ups. I think that they're a very strong team. Not a lot of holes on that roster or anything, or in their game. Yeah, so I don't. Some other teams, they do have a little bit of flaws that I can see. I don't really see as much of UConn, so they're my overall number one.
I was conflicted with this one, but I'm gonna go with Houston. I've seen a lot of them in the Big 12 conference, obviously playing against us. I think when it comes down to the tournament, the defensive teams normally make it far because you can rely on a good defense always showing out, but an offense can have an off night and lose you the game. I trust Houston's defense more than any other defense in the country, and they've been absolutely down, especially when you're in the Big 12 and it's almost impossible to win road games, let alone any games in the Big 12, and Houston has just dominated that conference. I mean, I have to put them there.
Yeah.
All right, Jared, we'll just
I'm-
go out of order, I guess. If you want to
Out of
rank
order.
or but
Okay. I'm just gonna kind of go in order of what I had, but I'm gonna stop Houston at the 2. You kind of explained it, really well. Very defensive heavy team, and they definitely play in a very competitive conference in the Big 12, which I think other teams, kind of throwing shade at Purdue a little bit, but they're not in as strong of a conference. And I think Houston is definitely really built for March, and they definitely show that in the regular season. And I think they're going to bring it this March.
yeah, I'm gonna just do exactly what you did. Put UConn at number 2. You explained it well. The only thing I'm gonna touch on with that is just like the veteran leadership UConn has. A guy like
Sure.
Cam Spencer, who's a grad transfer, who's been a really, really good, really, really smart player. I just think that UConn's primed for another big run. I mean, they did it last year. This year they'll be a higher seed, and we'll see if that affects them or not. But they're gonna be number 2 for me.
I like that. All right, so for my number 3, I was a little shaky on this, but I'm going to give the edge to Arizona. I think Arizona is a better team than Purdue or any of those teams below that. It's not by too much, as I think, especially this year, we've seen there's a lot of teams that are going to compete in March and play hard. But with Caleb Love and Arizona, they're just out there to play some good ball. And I think they're gonna have that tenacity after getting bounced by Princeton last year to really go into March and the weeks leading up with a headstrong force.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna actually be like unique and different having Arizona at 3, but that's also my 3 because I saw the bracketology had them at 5, as the first number 2 seed, and I'm like, how are they not a 1? This is the most high-powered offense in the country, and I know we just said defenses make a run, but Arizona's offense is so hard to stop, especially when Caleb Love is on his game and he's been playing out of his mind recently.
Yes.
I just think Love is a March performer too. We've seen it. He was in North Carolina helping him make it all the way to the national championship. I just don't see a way that Arizona doesn't do good in the Pac-12 tournament, and you get a number one.
All right, so at least my last number one, I'm gonna have to give it to Purdue. There's not a lot of teams that can realistically shut down Zach Edey for that long. Even though, even in last March, after you really didn't shut him down as much as he did, or he didn't play as obviously as well in the regular season, but he didn't play bad that game. So I think that Purdue, they're kind of in the same boat as Arizona a little bit. You know, they're coming in knowing that they're not going to be seen highly just because of their past and playing in a weak Big Ten. And I think Edey's really going to that is going to drive Edey to really play well, and the guys around him to really rally around him and keep the team going strong, even though they're playing in a weaker conference tournament, so they might not have to play as hard and play as well. But at the end of the day, leading up to that is what makes runs in the tournament.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with a different team here. I personally do not believe in Purdue at all. I think they might drop another regular season game, and I don't think they win the Big Ten either. I know the Big Ten's weak, but I don't see it with Purdue. I just don't. So I'm going to go over to the ACC and take North Carolina. I do think they win the ACC. I think they're the best team over there. Armando Bacot's still playing great. RJ Davis is playing out of his mind this season. They're just a well-coached, well-led team. They haven't really had many hiccups this year. They just destroyed Virginia at Virginia, which Virginia's a really, really good team. And they got smacked. I just think North Carolina is so well-rounded that there's no way they don't win the ACC. I think if they win the ACC, that they get that 1 seed.
Yeah, I thought about North Carolina a little bit when I was looking at it. But I don't know. I have a feeling Purdue's just going to kind of dial it in more this year because they really need to. They've been getting bad looks every year now.
I got to ask you this because I asked this to George Hathaway, who you guys don't know about this yet, but the episode of the first interview series on my personal channel is coming out this Friday. I interviewed George Hathaway, really, really nice guy. We talked about sleeper teams for the tournament, like lower seeded, who could make a run, and I brought up Providence as mine, but I want to hear what yours would be.
Providence. That's a good.
Providence on the bubble, and I really think they're a good team. When they're hot, they're insanely hot. So
they are.
But I want to hear who your sleeper is.
You know what? This is gonna. I don't know if this is really a sleeper, but I think I kind of hated on them at the beginning, or when we did an episode about that. Now I know I'm gonna say Duke just because they're not really a sleeper, but like I love how Duke plays. It seems there's at least one guy that has a big night every single game, and I think that's really going to transition well into March when you need guys to step up and you have multiple guys to rely on to do that. I just really like Duke, and I don't think they're getting as much attention as other teams are. So in my mind, I kind of considers them a sleeper, even though they're a very highly rated team in the rankings and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna go with them.
At the moment, it seems both of our teams might not make the tournament.
Yeah,
MSU just lost to Ohio State on a buzzer beater, and is, doing Cincy things. So
yeah, that's a tragedy.
I do get if the Bearcats make the tourney somehow, if they do well in the Big 12 tournament, they are an actual sleeper. Because for some reason, this team plays so much better against good opponents than bad opponents.
Yeah.
And they also play better on the road, so they wouldn't be home at all for the tournament. It's all be at the the tournament sites. So I genuinely think, and plus they're battle tested against all the Big 12. If they do make it, I think they'll play decent. It's just like they're such a weird, stupid team.
Yeah. I don't even want to talk about the buzzer beater.
Oh. That was a crazy buzzer beater though. That was nice.
Unfortunately, it was. It was crazy.
That was nice.
Yeah.
We're gonna go over here, talk to a little bit of baseball, just a little bit, because a new big contract just happened. I believe it was earlier today, or was it yesterday? I can't remember. Today. Cody Bellinger goes back to the Cubs. 3 years, $80 million. Jared, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I like it for Chicago. I think locking him up was huge after the sort of season revival he had, and you're bringing in younger guys, especially with the Cubs, and they're in a weak Central. And so if they play how they did last year and then improve upon the things that they messed up on, I think they could give the Brewers a run for their money. The Brewers, they're a consistently solid team, and they've done it for a while now. But I think the Cubs are on the rise. I like what they're doing over there. Bringing Bellinger back was kind of saying, "Hey, we're competing now. We can't let you go."
Yeah, I think it was big for the Cubs to bring him back because they hadn't really spent much money otherwise besides getting the new manager in. I can't remember his name for the life of me. What's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name. He was a Brewers guy.
Oh, Craig Counsell. Yeah.
Craig Counsell. Yeah. I mean, they hadn't really spent much money other than
Was so
bringing
long
in
ago.
Craig Counsell. And bringing in Bellinger is just like, or bringing back Bellinger is just such a good move for them. It was kind of weird because it felt like he was going to get a bigger contract than that from somewhere else. But
I don't think teams wanted to take that much of a risk, even because it was sort of a one-season thing, and he showed that he could be really not that good. And so either they didn't want to take that risk because they don't want to sign him to an expensive deal and then have him just stuck there and not playing how he did in Chicago.
yeah, I also think it's interesting that Blake Snell hasn't signed yet.
Yeah, there's so many guys that just haven't been
It's
signed. And we're
spring
already
training.
in
Like,
spring training.
what are
Like,
we waiting for? You have to get on a roster and practice
Yeah.
with your team, and come on.
yeah, that's crazy to me.
I mean, I don't understand. The baseball free agency needs to be like more streamlined. There needs to be like more. There needs to be
Yeah.
honestly.
It's very dry. It's definitely the drier free agencies, considering when we get to NFL and NBA, it's just not as hyped up, I guess, just because the sport's not as popular, I guess. And then players just take so long to figure out what they want to do.
Yeah, it's just weird. I'm not a huge fan of the way baseball does their free
The
agents.
teams are stingy and they don't want to spend money, like the Guardians. But yeah, in those sports, there's more drive to get free agents in the NFL and the NBA. The MLB, it's not really like that because we can just develop guys from the farm system and hope they pan out.
I still think there's something to be said though for adding like vets to your team or just
Oh,
good
yeah.
proven players to your
Yeah.
team. I don't see the issue with that, but I think the Guardians do. But like,
Yeah. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe that's why we're not in the front office. They know
Fair
something we don't.
there are at times where I feel like I could be in a front office, and there's no way I could make worse decisions than what the front office makes.
We're going to turn into Oakland in 2 years.
You tell me I could make okay. You're looking at let's look at the Charlotte Hornets. Are you telling me if I take over the Hornets 5 years ago, they're any worse than they are right now?
I mean, I guess that's not a horrible take, but it's also not a good one.
If I had the Hornets control for the last 5 years, we would be in the playoffs.
That's so bold to say. This is not 2K.
Okay, but you're looking at who they've drafted and who I wanted them to draft, I got some of those right.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong there.
I wouldn't have traded the pick for Shea on draft night.
But would Shea have developed as well as he did?
Only would have developed more than who did they get? Was it Jerome Robinson? Oh no, Jerome Robinson went to the Clippers. Who did they get for that one? Was that PJ Washington? Or is that too early for PJ?
That seems, yeah, that seems way too early for PJ. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I wouldn't have taken Malik Monk. I'll tell you that. The only pick that the Hornets have made that I actually liked was James Bouknight, and I know that one didn't turn out.
Ooh,
But like,
I was so confident. He would have been so confident front office drafting Bouknight.
well, I know that one didn't pan out, but they also didn't give him a fair chance. So I'm just gonna. But like,
Yeah.
there are guys that the Hornets are so bad. Their front office is awful. Also, the Brooklyn Nets have one of the worst front offices in the league.
Yeah, I don't. They're cooking something up there in Brooklyn. Get the
Nope.
big three and then lose them all.
And they're burning everything they try to cook. It's just not. They're
cannot
not cooking anything.
My hot take for them was they compete this year. Oh,
Oh my
God, was I wrong?
that was awful.
I didn't think we were gonna be like this mediocre. Like,
Well,
it's bad.
speaking of mediocre though, do you see the Hawks are 750 and 750 in their last
They
50?
are. Yeah.
That's
That
so
makes no
ridiculous.
sense.
It's Trey Young, bro. I'm telling you, it's Trey Young.
It's Trey Young. Trey Young wins a game, loses a game, wins a game, loses a game. He loves to
The
do that.
last 1500 too would go all the way back to like Paul Millsap, Al Horford days too.
Those days. That's
Like,
gonna be
wait,
so
how many
lame.
how many seasons is 1500 games?
It would be
18 seasons, not counting playoffs.
18 seasons of straight 500 basketball.
That's
That's
so
crazy.
awful, man.
That's so mediocre. That's so bad. I mean, at least they have the Braves. At least they're
Yeah,
good.
that's true.
So I guess they
And
really don't care about the Hawks.
Georgia for football.
Yeah.
If you're a Georgia fan, you're probably living in Atlanta. Or if you're living in Atlanta, you're probably a Georgia fan. Or I guess you could root for like Georgia State. Probably not.
Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern, yeah. Probably not. Wait, does Atlanta? Oh, wait, for some reason, I just got in my mind that Atlanta has a football team. Oh, they do. They have the
The
Falcons.
Falcons. Oh,
Oh, well, that's not any good either. So,
does Atlanta have a football team? It's
Dude, they're so
crazy.
I'm not gonna lie. Atlanta sports teams are so forgettable.
Not really. For me, it's DC. I'm not gonna lie. Or like the cities that only have like one team. Like I kind of forget the Kings are in Sacramento.
That's fair.
They're just so like they're just there.
Okay, speaking of
California.
forgettable, there's actually like I thought about this morning. Who's like a star player who's like still really good, but just like fell off the face of the earth as far as like name recognition goes. Like you barely remember they even exist, but they're still good. And I have one just so clear in my mind.
I can't think of any right now.
Like the one I was thinking of, I saw a post about Jalen Ramsey, and I'm like, he's still really good. But I have not heard that man's name in 3 or 4 years since he was like his first year in LA.
Yeah.
But he's still really good. He's still a star. But like this man has fallen off the face of the earth as far as like
Yeah.
recognition goes. You never hear about him anymore.
I can't think of any on the spot.
It's tough to think. I thought of that.
Yeah.
earlier, and I'm like, dude, I haven't heard Jalen Ramsey's name in years, but he's still good.
Yeah. He's just kind of there. I don't know. Like everybody knows he's good. And like
Yeah,
realistically, you can only get attention if you do something bad
that's
for star
true.
players because it's like, oh, that's what they're supposed to do. They're superstars. But then when they don't do that, it's everywhere.
That's true.
Oh. Yeah.
All right, we're going on here to our last little segment. We're going to be looking at 5 NBA teams. Are they contenders for the championship, or are they pretenders? Are they not real championship contenders?
Okay,
Kind
okay.
of like how the Grizzlies were last year. They're in the 2 seed and got knocked out first round.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with the reigning champions, and we're going to go with the Denver Nuggets.
They're contenders in my mind. I said this either last episode. I think it was last episode because we did the top 5 teams. This is not the best Nugget team we're seeing right now, because in my mind, at least, I think that they know they can compete, and they're still decent. They're close to that 1 seed still. It's not like they may be like what, they're the 3 or 4 right now, but still they're right there for the 1 seed with Oklahoma City and Minnesota. And I just don't think they're playing their best brand of basketball right now, and yet they're still competing, and they know they can play well in the playoffs. And then I just think that's when they're going to turn up. So I think they're contenders. I don't see a way where they're pretenders.
Yeah, I think you summed that up really good. I'm also going to go contender. You pretty much just touched on everything, but they're the reigning champions for a reason.
Yeah.
We're going to go here to the Eastern Conference. We're going to
Okay.
take a look at the New York Knicks.
Ooh,
I know my answer.
I know your answer too, because you almost put them in the top 5. So you're definitely going to go contender. I'm going to have to agree. Just a little bit weaker Eastern Conference. They can easily sneak in. They realistically could very well get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and probably the Finals, as long as they consistently play well in the playoffs. That's kind of what killed them last year. And you're bringing in OG, great defensive piece, one of a kind player. And yeah, and once everybody's healthy and they're able to get that system in, they can easily sneak to the Eastern Conference Finals and even the finals. And then at that point, it's just how do we win 4 games before we lose 3? And that can happen for any team realistically.
Yeah, I'm gonna go easy contender here. I think they're the best team in the Eastern Conference outside of the Boston Celtics. Jalen Brunson is the most underrated player in the NBA. This dude is absolutely insane. They've built a great team around him. And the thing about they could be even better too if Mitchell Robinson didn't get hurt early in the season and missed the rest of the year. They'd have another good player added on top of who they already have. The Knicks are just an absolutely really, really good team. I think they've set themselves up for a run at the Eastern Conference champion. Going back to the Western Conference, all right. This one is a little polarizing, okay? The Oklahoma City Thunder, such a young team, but they're playing so good.
I'm gonna say pretender. I think if they play a team like Denver or a team that's been in the playoffs before and you're leading up to getting to the conference finals or the finals, I think experience takes over from that. Will Chet and Shea be able to step up in the playoffs? Is kind of Shea has in the past. I think realistically it comes down to how well Chet will play, because he's gonna face some good bigs in the playoffs, and he's really gonna have to play well, or else he's gonna get dominated. Especially like a guy like Jokic. I think if they go up against the Nuggets, I don't think they win that series in like any way. They're just too young, unexperienced in the playoffs and those deep, and I just don't see a deep run for them. They'll definitely win a series or two, but after that, it's just too shaky for me.
Yeah, I'm also going to go pretender, but I'm close on the line here. I think what gets it for me is I don't trust their depth come playoff time. Even like like their high tier depth, like 6th, 7th man. I don't trust it.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get exposed in the playoffs when you need to be playing these guys. Your starting lineup so many minutes, they're going to get tired. I mean, I know they're like superstar players, but they're going to get exhausted. You can't run Shea out there for 40 a game and expect to get good results every single time. I don't want to say that they could be first rounded, but I think it could depend on matchup. If they get an unfavorable matchup, they could be first rounded.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to the Eastern Conference. All right. Keep your bias aside.
No.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
No.
Keep your bias aside.
Okay. God, if I say contender, it just feels so biased. Okay, I'm gonna say contender because
No, if you have legit reasons, that's fine.
Okay, during that win streak, that opened up a lot for this team. The depth that we got is way better than what we had last year. And if we can play like how we did in that 18-game span, where we went 17-1, we didn't play as great as competition, but we played teams like the Clippers and the Bucks. And even though that's only 2 teams, we played the Bucks twice, so realistically 3 games. But we were still blowing teams out and comfortably winning games. And you could say for every contending team, they're not gonna blow every team out of the water because that's just not realistic. But second in the East, I think we are contenders.
I'm gonna go pretender, and I can't explain why. No. I can't explain why.
I knew it.
If you take the Cavs outside of that really big run they had, they don't look good. I think their record is being manipulated by that run they had. And I know it was a really, really good run, but their record and their image right now is being manipulated by that run. I get Mitchell's really, really good. Garland hasn't been the same. I wouldn't trust him a ton come playoff time. I still don't trust Mobley and Allen together down low. I don't like it. I just don't. I think they're going to get an unfavorable matchup in the East come the second round. And well, I think it could potentially come the first round, depending on who they get. But come the second round, most likely that they're just not going to be able. They're not going to have an answer for because they're not good defensively, right? That backcourt plus Strus plus LeVert is going to get exposed. I know Allen and they're good, but like, come on.
I feel like you're sleeping on the defense from the guards a little bit.
No, I've watched him.
Karras especially. Karras has stepped up
Karras is
defensively a
better,
lot
but
this year. He's way better than he was last year.
I don't
Strus-
know.
I don't know what Strus does. He just chucks threes whenever he's semi-open. He's like MPJ if he was just a little worse.
I don't trust the Cavs coming down the stretch. I don't
That,
see
yeah,
it.
we're kind of shaky there.
I have to say, there's two first round matchups I'm thinking they could potentially get that I would be very confident in picking against the Cavs if that were to happen. You want to hear them?
Who would that be?
Well, you know what number one is. If the Sixers get the Cavs in the first round, I'm very confident they win.
Yeah. We can't beat the Sixers without him.
Because not only can they not beat the
don't-
Sixers without
no
Embiid,
sense.
if Embiid is back by then, you're screwed.
But we did win when you guys had Embiid.
Okay, but like, come on, that
So this makes no sense, to be
he
honest.
lost to
Like-
to Kelly Oubre. I mean,
We lost to Kelly Oubre and Buddy Hield.
yeah, and
Ooh.
the Sixers hadn't played the Cavs at full strength because they played with Embiid and lost, but they didn't have Buddy Hield or Campaign, and now they do.
Yeah.
Plus they've been handicapped. They had Furkan on the roster as a handicap.
Ran up for
I think
Conte.
if they come up against the Cavs or the Pacers in the first round, I'd be very confident picking those two teams over them.
Pacers is kind of bold.
I like that offense is good. Hallie's good. Turner and Siakam down low match up very well against
I keep
Allen.
forgetting about Siakam. Indiana's a very irrelevant team in my mind. I don't know. I can't
mean,
think
they
of
kinda
this,
are.
like who's on that team.
I think they're a good team.
They are.
All right, well, going back to the West, we're gonna finish off here with two Western Conference. Oh wait, have I done 3 or 4? I've done 4, right?
4, yeah.
You 4. Okay. Last one in the Western Conference. I'm deciding between two teams to ask you here because I think both. Oh, the Cavs just won. I got the notification. I think both are good options, but I'm gonna go with the Sacramento Kings.
Ooh. I'm gonna lean towards pretender, but it's very close to contender. They didn't really do anything crazy in the offseason to improve that roster. They're kind of just dishing out the same thing that they had. And I think the West has gotten significantly better. You're seeing more teams improve. It's obviously the Kings have definitely improved going back to last season, but they kind of have to improve with the style, not the style, but as quickly as the other Western Conference teams are doing. Because when you get to stretch or back half of the season, especially in the West, seedings matter. Matchups is what defines a lot of who wins the series. And if they want to secure a higher seed and not fall into one of those trap series, they really got to push themselves more. And I don't know if I see that happening since they haven't really improved too much on their roster and they're just dishing out the same team.
I'm going to disagree a little bit. I'm going to go contender because I think come playoff time, the two most important things are your stars and your coaching. And they're extremely, extremely well coached. And their stars have been playing out of their mind this year. I mean, Fox and Sabonis both got so snubbed for All-Star, it's insane.
They did.
I mean, they both should have been easily All-Stars. They've been playing so good this year. They're well constructed. I mean, the players just fit together with each other. They're a good defensive team while also being one of the better, faster-paced offenses. I just trust the Kings. I just do.
That's fair.
All right, well, there's a little bit of ranking. I think that'll just about do it for episode 21. As always, our links are down in the description to my socials, Jared's socials. Episode's actually coming out on time, which is nice.
Yes, we've done it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We actually surprisingly got one.
We lock in.
Yeah. And Jared, you got anything else for us here, man?
Yeah. I don't got much. Make it a good week.
Of course, as always, making a good week, and we'll see you all in the next episode.
Indeed.